Alright guys, so I wanted to talk about workplace habits. Now, what I consider a workplace habit is something that you do that is either a good habit or a bad habit, alright? So some of the habits that we try to talk about in every class are clean up after yourselves. You know, if you guys create a mess, you need to clean it up. Now this might sound pretty simple and pretty maybe not even safety related, but if you have a table that's full of wires and stuff all over the place, when you go to set down more stuff in the table, now you're crushing things, your hands could get poked by wires, things like that. You want to make sure you keep a very clean area, especially on the floor, because now you're creating what they would call a tripping hazard. So if you have a roll of wire on the floor for no reason and somebody's walking by, you could easily trip over that wire and that could be a potential safety hazard, okay? So the first habit I want you to really pay attention to is clean up. You want to make sure you clean up after yourself after every class. If you create a big mess during class, you want to make sure you get it put away immediately, okay? So like I said, safety and cleanup are very important together, all right? The next workplace habit that I would say might be the most safety oriented is never work on live equipment, okay? This will be a resounding thing we talk about all throughout this class. Never work on live equipment, okay? Never work on live electrical circuits and stuff like that. Always make sure to turn it off, always make sure to lock it out. We have had other videos where we went over lockout, tagout, a lot more in depth, but just make sure it is a great work habit to make sure you never work on live circuits. And it will be some test questions, so make sure you remember that. All right, and now another one is I've constantly see people not completely tearing down their circuits in between activities. Now, this is like kind of it's okay, I guess. The problem becomes that you now have wires and they could potentially, when you energize that circuit, they could now have energy running to them. That's why it's bad. I see a lot of people, they'll take wire nuts or something like that, and they will attach wire nuts to keep them so they don't, ground out onto the back of the train or something like that. That is absolutely not allowed. So I want you to get in the habit of always tearing down your labs in between, because it doesn't take that long to reinstall those wires or something like that. Just take them off, okay? Because I see it so much where they'll just unhook one part and they'll push it off to the side till they need it again, and then they think that they could just quickly rewire it back in, but that's never the case. Partly, it actually slows you down because now you need to go and trace wires as opposed to just installing them the first time or installing them each time correctly, okay? Also, you're not getting that practice that we want. We want you to, do things multiple times. That way it really gets solidified in your mind and you're able to then go out into the workplace and use those skills, okay? So those are probably the three main work habits that I want you to really be watching while you're here in class. I have a couple other ones that are not so much safety oriented. They're a lot more soft skills, how to keep a job. And a few of those are show up on time. It's definitely a respect thing. It shows me, it shows my other teachers that you really care about the work that you're doing here. And ultimately, when you actually get out and you get a job, if you can't show up on time, you've already lost, all right? They're not gonna put up with somebody who is 15 minutes late every day or takes long lunches or something like that. Showing up on time and being mindful of their time that they're paying you for is very important. Also, again, getting back to that cleanup. They want somebody who's clean. They don't want to have somebody else following you around cleaning up after you. Nobody's gonna put up with that. The next thing is having a good attitude, all right? A lot of times people will go to work and they just get frustrated, or they think they could take it out on their boss or something like that. You can do that, and there's lots of maintenance employees that do. Does it benefit them? Absolutely not. Ultimately, if you have a positive attitude, you're going to go a lot further in life than somebody who has, per se, a bad attitude and doesn't want to do things, doesn't want to, receive new ideas. They just want to shoot everything down. I'm not saying every idea is right, and sometimes you do have to, tell somebody you're wrong, but at a certain point, it's like the boy who cried wolf. They don't listen to you anymore. So make sure, always have a positive attitude, always be listening to your other, people around you or your boss or something like that. Which brings us to our last one, and that is listening skills. It's a major skill to listen, understand what somebody's telling you, and then do. I get a lot of times where I'll go up and try to help a student, and what he'll do is as I'm talking, he'll tell me, oh, I already know that. I know. And one, it's like, why are you asking me this question if you already know the answer? So it's just kind of a little bit like, okay, like I'm good, I guess, and I'll leave, and it's okay. You guys can take it out on me. It doesn't really bother me anymore. But ultimately, if somebody is willing to listen, I'm willing to talk a lot more. So try to start developing your listening skills. No matter who's talking to you, if they come in and they start telling you something, don't just write them off or blow them off or whatever, because there could be a lot more involved that you don't know. Okay, everybody here is really just trying to help you. So just try to keep some of these soft skills and work habits in mind as you're going through the class. It's going to keep you a lot safer, and you're going to be able to move a lot faster. One other thing that I kind of forget to tell people is make sure that you're using your teacher to the fullest extent. And I don't mean go and ask a million questions about stuff that you already know about, or have them explain every little thing in detail to you. I'm saying if you need to get something done faster, or you don't understand, you've been working on something for 10, 20 minutes and it's not making sense and you don't know what's happening, you need to get a teacher. Don't just sit over at your trainer trying to wire something together and it's not working out. Go grab a teacher, go ask a question, all right? You're gonna move a lot faster if you can see that you don't understand something and you need that help, all right? The other thing is to try to make sure that you are, watching the videos, watching the material, because a lot of the time we've set up those videos so that you can quickly grab it and move into the labs. We're not trying to make this difficult. We're not trying to make it so there's a lot of guesswork involved. The idea is that there's no guesswork involved, to be honest with you. So keep those in mind, and good luck, guys. Go ahead and move on.